Hello friends, a warm welcome from Aussie's group. I'm Malcolm, your PT coach, and today I have with me back again Gaurang. Sir, how are you today?
I'm fine, Malcolm. How are you doing?
We are fine, thank you so much for being here. After a long break, you're back.
Yes, I took a break, went home to family, and I enjoyed the new year.
That's wonderful. So, sir, we are today in the 6th session of our PT Live Q&A interactive series. So, which task are we taking up today?
But it's the 6th session, so if we go by the sequence that's followed, it should be summarize written text.
That's right. And summarize written text. So, what exactly happens in this task?
Summarize written text is the first task for the writing section.
Right.
And in this, you are presented with a paragraph, and you have to read the paragraph and then write a summary of that paragraph. The only instruction that is given is that you have to write a summary in one sentence.
One sentence.
Yes.
Right.
There is no word guideline given.
Right.
However, as per the scoring guide provided by Pearson, the requirement is between 5 and 75 words.
Which means that if we write a word less than if we write a word less than 5 or a word more than 75, I believe immediately there is a penalty.
Yes, there is. But I don't think you can write a sentence that is less than
5 it's not possible, that's right.
I think there are very few sentences that are complete and that would be less than 5 words.
Yes.
One of them, I guess, our students must be telling us a lot of time, that is, we love you.
But unfortunately and unknowingly or unwittingly, many times people do write more than 75 words.
Yes, it does happen.
Which is really a problem, because if you write more than 75, immediately there will be a penalty, after which very difficult to cross 79 in writing.
Definitely, yes. Also, sometimes the passage that they give you is so long.
So lengthy, that's
would be 150 words, maybe 200 words.
Easily, yes.
And then you are required to write just one sentence. How
That's
do you
right.
find a way out of that?
That's right, it's a bit tricky at times. So obviously first thing is that since the name of the task itself, the instruction says that you need to summarize the written text, which means you read the passage and summarize it using one sentence.
Yes.
So automatically it becomes an integrated task of reading and writing, which unfortunately many times people don't realize.
Yes, this task carries a good deal of weightage for reading.
That's right.
And also gives good marks for writing.
Writing, that's right. And now, generally, obviously it's a time task of 10 minutes in which you read and write both.
Yes.
So generally, how much time should you take to read the passage?
Ideally not more than 2 minutes.
That's right.
Right. Because you have read it, then you need to digest that information.
Right.
And then come up with a summary. Then write down that summary. Although it's only about a passage, one paragraph, when you say 5 to 75 words, ideally you should be writing somewhere around 40 words.
Yes, in between.
In between. Yes. So that is one paragraph. For one paragraph, even the slowest of typers, I would say, would need maybe a couple of minutes.
That's right.
But it's the thinking part and then the rechecking part that takes the most time.
Because generally, it's common knowledge that if we take too much time to read it, then obviously the timer keeps on ticking. And when the timer keeps on ticking, one thing keeps on increasing, and that is obviously pressure.
Yes.
Like, obviously, it's the thing which happens. So, as Gaurang correctly said, try not to take more than 2 to 3 minutes, maximum 3 minutes, I believe, to read it, which is more than enough to understand the key points. And then very quickly, just write it and have at least some time, a minute or more, plus minus, to check what you've written.
Yes, ideally you should be skimming through the passage quickly,
yes, that's
taking note of major key phrases or points that are mentioned. The idea is to understand what the passage is saying rather than read every small detail.
Right.
Because it is not going to be possible to rewrite every small detail in there. Because that would mean you have to rewrite the entire passage.
That's right.
Rather than doing that, skim through it to understand what the basis is, what is the main idea behind it, and then write the summary.
Right. And now, obviously, Gaurang, since this is a task of writing also, predominantly, which parameters or enabling skills of writing should we be careful about?
Well, because it's writing, the first thing that comes in is grammar.
Right.
You have to be very particular about your tenses.
Right.
Don't mix the tenses. Past tense, past continuous, present. That happens a lot.
Basically, just follow the tense in the passage and just
best way is yes.
Follow it in the passage.
Yes. The second thing is your vocabulary.
Right.
Use the right kind of words. There is no restriction on using words directly from the passage.
Right.
At the same time, there is no limitation that you cannot include your own words.
Yes.
So if you know a better synonym of some key word given in there, use that.
Right.
Okay? Your spellings.
Very
Do
important.
not make mistakes with your spellings.
PT is very finicky about spellings.
Oh yes, they are. They are. And there is an obvious reason for it. One of the key things that the computer can easily check is your spellings.
Yes, that's right.
If you make a spelling mistake, it will immediately catch that.
That's right. Yeah. And also for spellings, is there like, should we write in any one form of English, like British or English? We should be careful about.
Well, what I usually suggest is, if you're starting the exam, this is the first task of writing, of course. So
Yes.
if you start with British English in this, throughout the exam, throughout the test, continue following British
That's
English.
Right. That's right.
If you're going to American English, please follow American English throughout.
Right.
Don't mix
the two. Otherwise, it's a problem for the spelling score, for sure.
Now, for those who are not sure what is American English and what is British English, simple example is the spelling of the word organization.
Right.
Okay. If it is British English, organization would be O-R-G-A-N-I-S-A-T-I-O-N.
That's right.
And if it is American English, then it will be O-R-G-A-N-I-Z-A-T-I-O-N.
That's right.
That's the difference. Okay. So please follow this.
That's right. So PT doesn't mind which use, but throughout the test, try to stick to obviously one thing. That's right.
Of course, PT is an American test. So a lot of people believe that following the American pattern is a better way. Everyone is free to have their beliefs,
Yes, opinions.
but either one is acceptable.
That's right. And
yes, the last but not the least, and a very important one, is that your content should be accurate.
yes.
So you cannot, if the passage is about, let's say, disruption of train services in Melbourne,
Right.
and you write something about public transport in Victoria, it will not be accepted.
That's right.
It has to be accurate in terms of the meaning conveyed by the passage.
Right. And I think content is obviously very important even for the reading score,
Yes.
because PT clearly writes that the key points from the passage should be highlighted in the summary.
Yes. So the exact, I cannot give the exact statement, but what is mentioned is that your answer will be scored on the basis of your written content and accuracy.
Yes, I think it says something like your quality of your writing
Yes.
and how you include the key points presented in the passage.
Absolutely.
So obviously quality of your writing decides your writing score,
Yes.
and key points obviously affect your reading score.
Yes. So that's another important part. And because PT is also very much a formal exam,
Right.
so the style of writing
Right.
should be formal.
Right.
Do
Of
not
course.
use slang
Slangs,
words.
yes.
Do not use casual language, something that you would put into an email to your friend or a text message. And a lot of people now, it is happening because we have got so used to mobile phones.
That's right.
Text is TEXT, but they
TXT.
automatically become TXT. I really don't understand. That is just not acceptable.
That's true. Now also one thing is that many times I think people maybe understand the passage right, but in their eagerness, to be a bit or outsmart the tester, to sort of to show off their skills, sometimes they use words which actually do not convey the same thing.
Yes.
So then what should be done in this task generally? What would be a good way? Like obviously first you need to understand the passage, because otherwise you can't be good at conveying the message. So what would be few of the good techniques or strategies to save time and at the same time get a good score in this task?
Well, when you have to write a summary, this is what I have understood about summaries from the time I was studying.
Right.
There are 3 ways to write a good summary.
Right.
When we were in school, this was known as précis writing.
Right.
This is exactly
Précis writing, that's right.
You have to write a précis. Okay? So there are 3 ways of doing that. One, you identify 2 key sentences, 2 main sentences from the passage, put them together using a connecting word like and, but, while, whereas,
that's right.
anything like that. But make sure that grammatically it is correct.
Correct.
Also, there is no restriction on switching the sentences. So suppose you have selected one sentence from the first paragraph and one sentence from the third paragraph.
Right.
That does not mean that you have to write the first paragraph sentence before the third paragraph sentence.
Right.
You can switch the sentences if it conveys a better meaning.
Right.
So look at that and write accordingly.
Right.
Another method is to identify a few key phrases from the entire passage and then put them together into a coherent and meaningful sentence.
So what exactly would coherent mean, if you were to explain to students?
Coherent means it should convey the right meaning.
Right.
It should be in the right pattern,
Structure,
the right form,
right, that's
structure.
right.
using the right punctuation marks, because it's a single sentence. So
Very
punctuation marks
important.
become very important.
Right.
So using the right punctuation marks, and also ensuring that the meaning is not destroyed.
Correct.
Right? Because you can have the sentence would make meaning, but in terms of its meaning compared to the passage, it might be totally different.
Right. And now one very important thing you said about punctuations.
Mhm.
So obviously full stop can be used only once
Only
at
once
the end.
At the end.
So except a full stop, what else will be used on a day?
Comma, semicolon, colon, hyphen.
Hyphen sometimes.
These are all acceptable.
Right.
Single
As
quotes,
many
double
times as
quotes.
you wish to.
Yes, single quotes, double quotes.
Right.
Right. These are all acceptable. You can use as many commas as you like. Semicolons, you have to use a lot more carefully.
Right.
Because you cannot insert a semicolon everywhere.
That's right. That's true. And also you said like one of the methods is to pick up the important sentences which you feel, and maybe then you can link them.
Yes. So in that also you have to make sure that you are using the right commas,
Right.
semicolons, whatever is required, and that the flow of the sentence is there.
Maintain. That's right.
But the best possible method of writing a summary is, of course, to read the entire passage, understand the passage fully, and then write a summary in your own language.
Right.
Of course, this requires really good skills in English.
Right.
Often people make tense errors, grammatical errors, when they are writing English on their own.
Right.
So this method, although it is the preferred method because it will give you the best marks,
Possible score, yes.
the best possible scores, it is advisable for those who are really sure of their English.
Right, because obviously we're doing two things. We are first comprehending the meaning,
Yes.
and then writing it, and then, rechecking it as well.
Yes.
So take some practice and time as well, obviously.
And never ever ignore the importance of rechecking your work.
Yes. I think it's more important than even writing,
Yes.
because even minor mistakes will majorly affect your score. That's why.
And don't ignore the timer, please, because the clock keeps on ticking.
Yes, so in case you don't click on next at the end anyway, the next question will come on the screen. So at least you would suggest that at least before your test, practice to 1 or 2 summaries or 3 summaries under timed conditions. It always gives you a fair judgment of how much more effort you need to put in.
Ideally, under time conditions, they should be attempting every question.
Right.
So that they are sure that they are able to complete the entire test in the necessary 3 hours.
That's right. Well, we have a question. Khan Nida has asked that how many words do we have to write for scoring 80 plus?
There's no standard answer given by PTE on this.
Yes.
However, the recommended number of words is 25 plus to maybe about 50-55 if you keep it between this range. So if you take the average, it comes to between 30 and 40.
Which we already said before.
We already said before, somewhere around 40 words would give you really good scores.
Right, because the problem is if it becomes very few words, like sometimes people do write 20-25 words, then obviously it's a problem because it's difficult to, cover so much content of the passage in such a short sentence with
Yes.
obviously less content.
Yes.
And on the other hand, if it's many words, then obviously the problem is that grammar, you could make mistakes and obviously the score will be affected.
Yes, because the longer your sentence becomes, the more complex it will
becomes,
be.
obviously.
The more complex it gets,
The more
the chances that you'll make a mistake.
That's right. So yes, as Gaurang correctly said, stick around 40 words. That is a safe bet. 40, 50, more than enough, I think. More than enough to get
Definitely
a full
more
score.
than enough. Because the guidelines say you have to write between 5 and 75. It's a
75.
massive range. In between 5 and 75 you get so many words.
That's right.
And why do you want to waste too much of time writing a very long summary when it is not sure that you are going to get any extra marks for it?
Yes, that's right. And also sometimes I've seen Gaurang that few of the passages in the real test have quotes. Sometimes you may have full, let's say out of 3 paragraphs, one entire paragraph is in quotes, or sometimes just random like real quotes.
Right.
So do quotes actually serve a purpose in the passage, more or less?
Yes, they do serve a purpose. They serve the purpose of confusing you.
Right.
Often those quotes are just repetition of what was said before.
Was said, yes.
Right. Also, they are examples.
Right.
Oftentimes, they are examples. You don't need to include examples in your summary.
Right.
Don't go for, I already said, don't go for the finer print. Here, there is a star that comes, but here, the star says, don't read the fine print.
Right. So basically, it's a tactic by PT just to confuse the test taker, distract the test taker.
Yes. Now, Ruprai Gaurav has asked us, does vocabulary play a vital role in getting more score, 80 plus? What's your answer to this?
Yes, definitely. Vocabulary will play a role. Sometimes the minor things make a major difference in the score. Let's say the difference between, let's say, 78 and 80 or 81 is just 2 or 3 points.
Yes.
So at times, if you think that some word can be expressed better, then why not?
Yes. Also, because this is the test of English, and English is all about grammar, spellings, vocabulary.
That's right.
So you cannot ignore vocabulary when it comes to the Pearson test of English.
That's right.
Also, the fill in the blanks that we get, or write from dictation, answer short questions, that is all vocabulary.
Vocabulary.
If you do not have that, you are not going to get your
Even
scores.
one thing for vocabulary, I can say that even Pearson on its website has given the PT collocation list, which is a list of all academic collocations.
Right.
It's a list of roughly 2,500 words. So actually, it's a help from Pearson's side. So just go through that list. It will give you a fair idea of which collocations you can actually use even in such passages, mainly in summaries or in the essays. So even that is a very helpful thing. I believe it will definitely help in the writing part.
It is. If you have the time and the patience, my recommendation is go through all of those words.
Yes.
Try and remember those words.
Yes.
Not only will they help you with your PTE scores, they will also help you in everyday life.
Everyday life, that's right.
They will improve your language by a massive,
More than
massive
expected.
amount.
Yes.
Because research has shown that the average person from an English speaking country has a vocabulary of about 20,000 words.
Right.
However, people from non-English speaking countries, those who have English as their second language, have an average vocabulary of about 5,000 words.
Oh, okay.
And 5,000 words is the most commonly used vocabulary.
And I think PT has researched these words out of a list of, I think, 25 million words.
Yes.
They have just brought it down to 2,500 words. So obviously when PT thinks that these are important, they definitely are important.
They are definitely important. So just think about this. For everyday conversations, you need just about 5,000 words. Okay? Out of which PT is already giving you 2,500 words.
Right.
If you add that to your vocabulary, think about where you will go in terms of your language and how that will affect your overall scores.
Right. So I think, yes, that's one way in which you can definitely improve your vocabulary. Yes, Gaurang, is there anything else you'd like to add about any other task or any other topic?
There is nothing really great about this task, not much to be discussed. It's a very simple task in itself. If you look at it, there's just one passage and you have to write an answer related to it.
Right.
However, its importance cannot be ignored because right after this there is the essay.
Essay, yes.
And if you make a mistake in this and you spend too much of time thinking about it, the essay might be affected.
And how many questions do we get for the summaries?
Maximum of 3.
Right, and minimum of
2. You cannot get, normally you would not get less than 2. Occasionally, rarely I would say, students get 2 essays and 1 summary.
Very rare.
But that is rare.
Yes. So 20 to 30 minutes in your test will go in this task.
Yes. It forms 50% of the writing task because the other 50%, that is 20 minutes, are for the essay.
Right.
And 2 tasks of summarized written text, so that is 20 minutes for summarized written text. Overall 40 to 50 minutes for your writing task.
Right. But I would also like to say that obviously essay writing is a pure writing task, has nothing to do with reading. So obviously out of these two, from reading's perspective, this is the most important.
Yes, this is a very important task. And because reading only has 5 questions and out of that 1 is integrated, so this contributes serious marks to reading. Also, because with summarized written text, it's your first chance to write something, it is very important that you pay proper attention to it.
Right.
It could mean the difference between writing clearly throughout the exam or going haywire.
Right. And also you get just a single timer for speaking and writing, which is between 77 to 93 minutes. So immediately after speaking, this task will start. But anyway, since this task has an independent timer along with it, so no need to worry much about the overall timer as well.
Yes, but people should remain aware about this because you will never realize when you have moved from a speaking task to a writing task and you have to pay attention to 2 timers in there.
Right.
If there is a timer at the bottom, that is the timer you should follow.
Yes, obviously.
Except for not the timer at the top. Because that is the overall timer.
And the one at the bottom is the independent timer.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Alright, I think we have covered most of the things to cover in summarized written text. We also had recorded our earlier video for summarized written text. So if you have more doubts, then definitely you can revisit our past video. You can just go to Facebook and search Summarize Written Text Aussies Group. You will be redirected to the video which we shared earlier as well.
Yes. And if you still need any help with Summarized Written Text, then feel free to write to us and we'll be happy to reply to your questions.
Definitely.
At the same time, possibly the best way to succeed in this is to practice as much as you can. Start reading, read different passages from different magazines, newspapers, books, whatever you can lay your hands on, and write summaries. The more you practice, the better you
get. Definitely. And Gaurang, the task which we'll cover next week will be obviously...
Of course, the essay.
Essay, that's right.
Essay is an essay. It's a simple task and it's a tough task, depends on how you look at it.
Yes, but obviously it has a good weightage for your writing score.
Yes, it does.
And generally we get how many essays?
We get one, maybe two essays.
That's
Nowadays, a lot of students are getting 2 essays.
Yes.
But one good thing about essays is that because we already know the general list from which, the topic list from which the essay is going to come, we can say it's a safe task.
We know what is going to come in the test. So
yes.
obviously that's a good thing.
We cannot predict, but we know the general range from which it is going to come.
Generally it's from that list.
Yes.
And friends, I'd also like to remind you that this Saturday we are not having the masterclass in Melbourne, but instead it's our first masterclass in Adelaide. So all those of you who are waiting, have been waiting for the masterclass in Adelaide, you still have some time. You can just go to pte-tutorials.com and under coaching you can go to the Adelaide masterclass page where you can just very quickly, let's say under a minute, you'll be able to register as well. The class will start at 11 AM and will go on till 5:30. The address for this masterclass is the Aussies office in Adelaide. So you can just Google it up and we'll be more than happy to see you over there. And on the 3rd of February, that is next month, we'll be having our first masterclass in Parramatta, Sydney as well. So if you're interested for that class, then definitely, I'm sorry, the date is 10th of February, not the 3rd of February, my mistake. On 10th of February, the Parramatta masterclass is going to be held. So you can again go to PT Tutorials and under coaching you'll see the Sydney masterclass, which is the same as the Parramatta masterclass on 10th of February. We'll be more than happy to see you there as well. So don't wait, be quick in booking your slots as well because they're filling up fast.
So Malcolm, the Australian tour for the PTE masterclass of Aussies has started.
That's right, has started, and very soon we'll try to cover other states as well. But since we had many queries from these 2 places mainly, that's why our first target is Parramatta and Adelaide.
So people from Adelaide, get ready to receive Malcolm. In my words, the Superman of PTE coaching in Australia at the moment, the one with the best scores that you can possibly get, 90, 90, 90, 90.
Thank you so much, Gaurang. And friends, I'd also like to remind from 90, I'm reminded that in the month of January, I think we have got 11 scores of 90. 11.
Yes.
And I really doubt it if there's any other institute in the world, not in Australia, forget Melbourne, in the world, which has 11 90s. And by 90, I don't mean even 89, I actually mean 90. Band 9 is a score of 86 to 90. 90 is 90.
Yes.
So
it's like the difference between 99 and 100.
That's right.
Right? So it's only 90 that works for us, nothing else. We also had fantastic scores in other terms because I think almost all our students since the 1st of January have achieved their desired scores, be it 6, be it 7, be it 8. And a lot of them who were not even thinking of getting 8 have scored more than 8.
So I think with just 2 branches, one in Clayton and one in Melbourne, compared to many institutes who claim or boast to have 9 or 10 branches worldwide, still I don't think they're able to match our efforts.
Absolutely
So I think the number of followers doesn't make a difference here, but it's the conviction and the belief in your conviction. So basically belief, conviction, very similar words, but the belief in your conviction and how you act with it, which will get you success, I think.
Yes. We believe that every student that comes to us has the ability to get a perfect 90 score.
Definitely.
And that is the belief that drives us, that is the belief that helps us, help students get their desired scores and go beyond their desired scores.
Definitely. We ended the the year of 2017 as the PT Institute with the highest number of 90s, I believe.
And that is in the first year of our coming into
and actually
picture.
It's been just 6 months, I believe, since we started.
Yes.
Since we must be doing something right that's getting us the scores.
Yeah. We started Clayton, I think, in May. And we started
Melbourne in July.
In July.
July, yes. So in 6 months, unbelievable number of 90s. Even I didn't think we'll get those many 90s. But obviously it's our hard work as a team.
Yes.
Which is keeping the momentum going on.
And I think we have also taken a lot of first-time initiatives, including the live sessions.
That's right.
Which have changed the landscape for PTE coaching here in Australia, I would say, not just Melbourne.
That's right. And friends, we'll also like to remind you the importance of pte-tutorials.com. Just in the month of January, we have had 2 students who got a score of 90 each. One of them is named Atikur, the other is named Mohammed. Both of them, and I would like to congratulate both of them, they are both from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Now, both of them just practiced from pte-tutorials.com. We are having scored tests and unscored tests, and we are also selling full packages which are called all-in-one packages. For example, one of the all-in-one packages has material for essay writing, has material for describe image, and has 2 scored tests.
Okay, that's
and
fantastic.
I think that's available. It's not at all expensive. It's really cheap as well. So
and
yes,
these practice materials that you see, these tests that you see online on pte-tutorials.com, they are the results of years of experience. You can say possibly all the PTE tutors that we have as part of the Aussies group, they have put in their life work into this. So what you get is the refined product, the final ultimate thing that you can get for online self-practice PTE coaching.
Right, and as of now we have 30 practice tests, but very soon we are coming up with many more.
Yes.
So just keep on waiting. We'll try to improve ourselves, and at the same time we hope that you utilize our sources to their maximum potential as well.
Absolutely. Well, Malcolm, that just about completes our session for today. We have one more session coming up next Thursday. So I guess we will have our colleague Tanu joining us in that session.
Definitely.
But that all depends on how things go next week.
So thank you so much, Gaurang, for your time today. It was a pleasure to have you as always.
It's always a pleasure to be live, reaching out to students, helping people get their scores. I would like to wish you all the best for your class in Adelaide.
Thank you
and
so
I
much,
hope
Gaurang.
that the students from Adelaide turn out to fill the class so that they can get the maximum benefits possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much for viewing the video, friends. Hope to see you next week. All the best. Thank you.
All the best to all of you.